Wow, look at Teresa's buddleia. It smells great. Commonly known as the butterfly bush for great reasons. Butterflies love this thing. Cover it up. We have several here on the farm, and it is at the beginning of summer, June 17th. Come with me and let me give you a farm update. It's been a while. Well, we had been letting the chickens free range, and that was working well. They really enjoyed that. We'd leave the chicken coop door open, they'd go out, and every night they'd come and roost, no issue. Well, the problem is tomatoes became ripe, and chickens love tomatoes, so they started eating our tomatoes, so now they're confined. Bad chicken. We told them, now they're confined, we're going to try to build maybe a little portable something to let them out some more or something like that. Certainly we'll let them out this fall after tomato season, but until we come up with another solution, they're going to be confined to the chicken house. Well, the green beans are really producing. We have several rows of Blue Lake green beans. Been gathering them every other day, getting beautiful green beans off them. Very good variety. Grown them ever since I was a child. Just been a standard favorite. Tastes delicious. One of our customer favorites. In fact, we have, I think, 6 rows here. I planted probably about 4 more rows just to keep production going. When some of the other plants come in, hopefully we'll get to where we can gather every day. It's really a high demand item. Well, it'd be a shame to be here in the south and not grow sweet potatoes. Here's our sweet potatoes again. We grow them in hills, you might can tell. We actually have a healer behind the tractor. It makes this nice hill which we plant the sweet potatoes in. Makes it easy to harvest. It also warms the soil up quite a bit. And that is one thing, sweet potatoes, perfect for the south. Heat tolerant and drought tolerant and love heat. The extra heat from the raised bed, that's all the better. You can see they're doing great here. Haven't had any pests. There seems to be a little damage here, but nothing serious. They always do fine. Another month, this whole bed will be just covered with sweet potato leaves. This is a good shot of our corn. We planted 10 rows of corn yesterday, and you can see our metal pans really just to make noise. It really keeps the crows away. It's actually pretty effective. It's been a very successful for us in the past. Behind me you can see more corn, which is probably a month old, and behind that more corn, which is even older than that. So we do this in succession. This way it guarantees us corn throughout the whole season. So here is one of our rows of tomatoes. We have approximately 300 tomatoes planted this year. All doing well, mostly Better Boy and Celebrity. Pretty much half and half probably. We have a couple rows of I think Big Boy, and then a row of heirlooms, and maybe a few cherry tomatoes and things like that thrown in. How we do tomatoes though is we cage them. We also have a wire that runs through the cages to keep them from blowing over. We mulch them with some free mulch we've gotten from landscaping crews, that ground up tree trimmings and this kind of thing. And then under that is drip irrigation, which is set to a timer to water once a week or every 4 days, depending on what kind of rain we're getting. So far this seems to be working. Our biggest chore is going and tucking tomatoes in the cages that want to grow out. So we come and do this every few days just to make sure they stay nice and in the cage. Fruits are looking really well. We gathered our first tomato, this is June 17th, and we gathered our first tomato, I would say the first week of June, beating my records in the past. Probably getting 3-4 tomatoes a day. We have several that are on the verge of turning and be ready this week, so this will be a big week for us, finally getting a lot of tomatoes coming in. Oh, Mark, your garden looks so nice and neat. Yeah, right. Well, this is what YouTubers usually don't see. This is my pumpkins. This is watermelon. This is another row of pumpkins. And this is what happens if you skip weeding. Weeds just take over. Vining crops are very hard to weed. You can't cultivate them with the tractor, so the only way you can do it is by hand. And this is very invasive weeds here. So we're just going to make the best of it. Well, we're always trying new things here at the farm. And as you've seen, weeds easily take over. So we have this new thing we're trying. We actually have completely mulched these few rows right here with mulch, the landscaping mulch I was talking about earlier. Probably an inch, maybe an inch and a half thick. It's a very thick stuff. And in that, Teresa, as you can see, is going through and planting some herbs. So she's actually going in mulch, digs out a hole, plants the herbs, and then pushes the mulch back around. If this works for us, you may see this a lot more with our vining crops and things that are hard to weed. We're pretty excited about this. I think this will work. So right now she has planted a basil, I believe. Is that basil? And right now she is doing chives. So I'll give you an update in a month or so, and you can see how those have been doing. Here is one of about 30 bell pepper plants. Got beautiful fruit on it. They're doing really well. We caged them similar to the tomatoes. We mulched them and have them on drip irrigation too. In addition to bell peppers, we also have jalapenos, which are very popular, as well as banana peppers, which I love to put on sandwiches. Really good peppers. Well, here at the farm, we're actually clearing more land, and I say hand clearing, and I'm kind of being a little gracious there because really my dad is mostly hand clearing this for us. So we're hand clearing the farm just so we have more acreage to farm. The actual farm is about 22 acres. We have about an acre and a half, maybe 2 acres cleared, which is what my videos are on, and you see us planting on. So behind me you see one of 3 brush piles we'll be burning today. Today is a perfect day to burn. It's beautiful outside. It's probably in the 70s, and it rained last night. Now you may think, wow, rain? You shouldn't be burning if it's wet. No, believe me, this brush pile, which has been sitting here a few months, is plenty dry. It could have had a downpour, and we would still be able to burn this no problem at all. The advantage of being raining last night is the ground is now wet, so there's less likely of a fire spreading. Needless to say though, whenever you're burning something this big, first get a permit, which we have. Next, make sure you have a water source. So we have a well here at the farm, and we have a hose here, so have extra protection. To start this thing, what we do is we take usually some newspaper, we'll wad it up, put it in there. We don't use diesel fuel or anything like that because this is plenty hot and burned by itself. Now the irony here, you see this shirt I have a long sleeve shirt here that I will put on while we're burning. You think, goodness, I said it's in the 70s, why will I need a long sleeve? Well, as you're working with a brush pile, embers and stuff will be floating up and coming down, which would be the fire hazard if the ground wasn't so wet. But it also can be a hazard to you. It'll land on your skin and it can burn you. Plus, it gets plenty hot as well. So we'll both wear long sleeve shirts, have gloves on, and that's the protection we'll use. And you'll see how big this flame gets. So it gets pretty big and pretty hot. As you hear, my chickens are actually enjoying the day. You can probably hear them in the background. Now this is a particularly good place to start the fire because there's all these little small twigs and stuff like this, which is basically kindling. So we just shove some newspaper under here and we'll light this thing up. This is the fire 7 minutes later from your last time you saw it. 7 minutes. Okay, about an hour and a half, not even an hour and a half, about an hour and 10, 15 minutes later, that is what our brush pile looks like. 2 more to go.